This is Frank.berry. I am with IT Brand Pulse, and we are the management company that is operating the 2550-100 Alliance, and I'll also be your moderator for this webcast. And with me is Chris.Lorenz, Director of Partner Marketing with QLogic. And QLogic is our featured guest on our Alliance webcast today. Hopefully other vendors will contribute to our future webcasts. Our agenda for this first webcast is to provide an update on what the Alliance is all about, and what we've achieved, and who comprises the Alliance community these days. Number two is to review the 2016 calendar. We're now getting to the point where products are going to be available, so we've got a lot of activities planned for 2016. And then I'd just like to sum it up by reminding everybody about different ways that you can participate and take advantage of the Alliance to drive your business. So let's start with an update on the Alliance. First of all, what's the opportunity for the Alliance? Well, or for the technology. And as you can see in this chart, we expect that 25 gig is going to become in just a few years. So unlike 10 gigabit technology, which is the high performance data center networking technology today, it took many years to take off. 25 gig E is expected to take off within a couple of years and pass the 2 million port mark in just a couple of years, much faster than 10 gig, 40 gig, 150 will get there. So it's being driven by the hyperscales. So for vendors and for IT organizations that are targeting hyperscale-like performance, hyperscale-like efficiency, and hyperscale-like economics, this is a technology that's going to be part of that for your applications, your systems, and for IT organizations. So who's affected? I've talked to a lot of software vendors and other vendors, and when I invite them to join the Alliance, it's common that the response that I get, well, is we're a software vendor, so we don't really care about it. But what I want to remind you with this chart is that if you're a software vendor and you're replicating data, you're moving data, copying data, if you're transaction-oriented, there's a lot of technologies that come along with 2550-100 Ethernet that are going to change your benchmark results. So if you're a software company, a storage system company, a server company, and you have performance benchmarks that are bandwidth-oriented, latency-oriented, this technology is going to change the results of the performance of your app or your system. So what have we achieved so far? Well, the Alliance was launched in April of 2015. Already 126 companies have become Alliance members. Over 60 technology providers, those are hardware IHVs, software ISVs, and 65 solution providers, otherwise known as VARs and distributors. The community is now global. We have Alliance members located in North America, Europe, and Asia. We've gotten over 2,000 visits to the program overview that's up on SlideShare. We get about 3,000 visitors per month to the web portal, 2550-100.com, and I've received a lot of inquiries about the availability of the products and what kind of programs are available that different vendors can take care of, that you vendors can take advantage of, to drive your business in the future. So these webcasts are designed specifically to allow all of the developers, vendors to share that information with each other. Here's a slide with detail on who the technology providers and solution providers are, and you'll see there's a good mix of large vendors, small vendors, chip vendors, system vendors, etc. A bit about some resources that are available to the vendors. The first is the web portal. It's a crowdsourced tool for development and marketing. What we mean by crowdsource is that it's there for you to take advantage of, members and non-member. So we have a directory for solution development, and you want to reach out to different hardware or software vendors, We already have contact information for all 126 vendors in a directory up on the site. So that's a great example of what we mean by crowdsourcing. So you don't have to hunt down for information for software vendors or for NIC vendors or for switch vendors. Their contact information for interoperability or for marketing is up on the site. If you'd like to submit sales education or technical training content to the site to be shared by other vendors or by IT organizations, all you have to do is contact me, Frank Berry, or info@IT55100.com, and we'd be glad to post your content on the web portal. The second resource that's available to you is a newsletter. So those of you that have received the invitations, that same vehicle will be used for weekly newsletters that you can expect to see as we move into 2016. Your news, product information, announcements, if you're looking for specific information or product from different vendors, then again, send an email to me, Frank Berry, or to info@255100.com, and we will put it into our newsletter so that we can share that information with other members. So if anybody's on the call that's not a member, you can join now. It's free. There's the URL where you can click, and all you have to do is provide us some contact information, and you're in. Okay, now let's review information about what we're going to do in 2016. Starting from the ground floor, we're going to pick up where the work of the 25 Gig Consortium and Ethernet Alliance leaves off. And why do I mention that? Because when I introduce the Alliance to people, it's very common that the first question I get is, why are you doing this? Because we already have a 25 Gig Consortium, we already have an Ethernet Alliance. And the reason being is that those other organizations are really focused on specifications and standards, promoting specifications and promoting standards. And we believe that there's a need for a vehicle to facilitate the collaboration for vendors for interoperability testing, for solutions development qualification, and then for marketing of the solutions. And then finally taking those solutions out to the IT organizations for proof of concept environments. And once we get beyond proof of concept, then we're into general availability of the product. And we want to fill that gap between specs and standards and general availability of the product. This is an example of the process that us vendors will go through in order to get to market. It starts with us educating each other about our products, about our cables, our NICs, our switches, our storage systems, our servers, software, etc., and the specifications of the technology. Then when products are actually available with 25, 50, or 100 gig on board, then we all share products and we start to build out our lab. Once we build our labs, then we start qualifying solutions, and ultimately it ends up in IT evaluations and IT deployments. As you can see in the big red dot, that's where we are today. We're just entering the time frame where vendors can now start to ship equipment to each other, populate our labs, and start the process of qualifying solutions. So programs to help make use of all this resources. This is a framework, not specific programs, but the framework for the Alliance is one, to contribute and attend technical training from other partners. This is a call for all of you to contribute content. With our newsletters, you'll be able to contribute and receive alerts about product availability, technical topics, company news, contribute to and use the web portal, contribute to and use early access programs offered by members. So if any of you would like to put together a special program for early access to other developers for your products, this is a great place to share that information. In the future, we see putting together solution test festivals so that instead of having to reach out to each individual vendor to test your products, we might be able to put together some solution festivals so that you can qualify multiple solutions in a single event. And then ultimately, as we get beyond the solution qualification, we expect that the partners will group together to do co-marketing together of their solutions. So here's a calendar of things that we've got planned already. We have launched our weekly newsletters. This is our first webcast. We expect, in conjunction with our next webcast, to have our first education material available. Chris is going to talk a little bit more about that. A lab will be available, and Chris is going to talk about the lab as well. We're going to put out news at the end of the month. By the end of the month, we'll have another webcast on the 25th of January. What we're hoping is that by then I will be in contact with several of the vendors, and we'll have multiple vendors involved. At this time, our guest for this webcast is QLogic, and as I mentioned before, hopefully in the next webcast we'll have multiple vendors that will be able to participate in our January 25th webcast. But QLogic's our guest today, and let me turn it over to Lorenz.
All right, thanks Frank. Thanks everyone for joining this morning. QLogic's proud to be one of the founding members of the 25/50/100 Alliance, and we appreciate this opportunity to kind of share an update with you some of the things QLogic has been working on in this space. And to reinforce what Frank said, I think this is a great forum for other members to also share their updates with the respective community here. And I look forward to kind of hearing from some of the other partners who are part of this alliance on their technology updates. Most of the people on the call, are familiar with QLogic, but just in case a few of you are new to our company, let me give you just a quick overview. QLogic is the industry leader in I/O connectivity markets. Most of you probably know QLogic is the leader in fiber channel technology. However, what you may not be aware of is that we are actually the number 2 market share leader in 10 gig Ethernet. And I'll explain to you here how we were able to kind of quickly establish that position. QLogic is a very well-managed and financially sound company. We've had 79 consecutive quarters of profitability, and we have a lot of strong discipline when it comes to our financial management. Two things that occurred, in the recent years that really kind of propelled our position, in fiber channel, but also in Ethernet. We made 2 major acquisitions a couple years ago. One was we acquired Brocade's converged network adapter business. And another acquisition, which is really the one that has propelled us into this number 2 market share position in 10 gig Ethernet, is we acquired technology and assets, the NetExtreme 2 technology and assets from Broadcom. And that immediately established us as a major player in the Ethernet technology space. Almost all the Tier 1 OEM server vendors utilize this technology, and we are now happy to be able to share our strength and success in the Ethernet space. And it's really that position that's acted as a springboard for us to be able to develop and deliver next generation Ethernet technology, specifically supporting the 25/50/100 gig development. Over the course of the last year, over 2015, we've actually been showcasing and demonstrating our technology, our 100 gig Ethernet technology, with industry leaders like Dell and HP. We made a collaborative partner announcement with Huawei back in September. We started this really back, I think, at Interop, around the same time that this 25/50/100 Alliance was announced, and we've been showcasing this technology through the course of the year. So if you happen to see QLogic at an upcoming industry event, I encourage you to stop by our booth, because we will likely be demonstrating some of our technology, and you can learn more and get sort of a hands-on demonstration of what we're doing. At this point, we have not officially rolled out our product portfolio. We have been demonstrating technology, but during the first half of this calendar year, you can expect to see some announcements around the actual products that will be being made available to the market. So keep an eye out for those announcements. But Where we have been showing our technology and demonstrating our technology, we've been including a fairly robust feature set around 25 gig Ethernet. So the product has been optimized for virtualized environments, provides full hardware offloads to free up CPU cycles and workloads. It's all utilizing Ethernet standards-based Ethernet specifications. And the plan is to provide OCP support as well, and offering low latency capabilities through RDMA functionality. So again, a really robust feature set that's been showcased and demonstrated, and what's planned for the products when they're ultimately brought to market. So again, why QLogic? Why consider our solution? Again, we have a well-established leadership position in the Ethernet space. We were first to market with E550 100 gig technology. We offer all the speeds, feeds, and functions for Ethernet networking and storage, as well as the best IOPS in the industry around iSCSI and FCOE. We offer both host side and target side solutions, and we're the only supplier to offer both RoCE and iWarp capability, as well as a very flexible and proven software stack that will enable software-defined networking, as well as the software-defined data center functional blocks. So if you're interested in learning more about QLogic's technology development and kind of staying on top of some of the announcements that are going to be forthcoming here in 2016, I encourage you to go to our dedicated 25 gig landing page, the top of the screen. On this page, you can find a number of different resources and materials. We have white papers and solutions briefs. We have a few videos that give our perspective on the development of next-gen Ethernet technology, give some perspective on our participation in the 2550-100 Alliance, as well as there's a form there. There's a web form that you can fill out if you are interested in having early access to technology or participating in testing and qualification activities with QLogic with your own 2550-100 gig solution. So, and that's something that's available to you now. If you are interested in participating in some collaborative joint testing, there's a link here that you can fill out to schedule a call, or you can email our Solutions Lab engineer, Doug Rivera, directly to have him review your proposed test scenario and then schedule implementation of that. I encourage our partners to take advantage of that resource. As Frank mentioned earlier, we all are also working on a certification curriculum around 2500 gig Ethernet. Look for some announcements on that here in the coming quarter. The online courses that we're developing will provide overview on standards, the technology, where the product provides value and benefit for customers. What are some of the application scenarios where you're likely to find benefit for this, as well as industry roadmap, where this technology is going. There'll be an online test, and you'll get a certification provided to you after completion. These are all sort of self-paced modules that you can take advantage of. You can stop and start them based on your availability and convenience. And again, it's all you can do it all from your desktop. So again, encourage you to visit that website I sent you so you can get updates on when these things are going to be announced. And then lastly, QLogic will be attending and hosting meetings at Mobile World Congress, which is coming up in Barcelona at the end of February. This is a big event for the industry, and certainly a big one for the Ethernet technology community. So if you're planning to be there and you want to discuss some of the things we're doing, as well as maybe share some of the things you're doing in next generation Ethernet, go ahead and send me an email, and we'll look to try and get something scheduled during that week. And Frank, with that, I think you were going to try and get some feedback from the audience here on a few questions. Is that correct?
Yep. So what we've done is we put together a group of questions, and we'd like to ask those of you online to just give us a little bit of feedback, so we're seeing where the interest level is on collaborating through the Alliance. So if you don't mind, please take a second and respond to the survey that should be on your screen.
So I think, Frank, that wraps up in my spot. Again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to let QLogic present its update, and look forward to attending future webcasts.
So I'd like to just wrap up by kind of summarizing things that we've already said on the webcast. Number one, in order to get started, learn how the technology, what it can do for your business. And I think the first step in that is complete the course when it's available. And a little bit more color on the course materials is these courses that are designed to be completed in about 45 minutes, maybe a 10-minute test, so that you can earn your certificate in less than an hour. So it's not intended to be rigorous education. It's really intended to be primer level information for any particular subject. The other thing that's really important is if you're not in the education business per se, you probably would like to have feedback from people. So one of the things that we're trying to achieve here is by offering a certificate is capturing contact information. So if you sponsor a course, when somebody completes the course and earns a certificate, that contact information will be provided back to the sponsor. And I think this will be especially important when we get to IT organizations start taking this information, and you'll start getting feedback. You'll get leads on people that are taking your course. Number two is in the future, you're going to see information about an accelerator kits that are pre-packaged and tested for interoperability. More information on that in the future. You'll want to schedule time in the Solutions Lab at QLogic. We highly recommend that you get in the queue, be the first ones to get the new networks qualified with your hardware, your software. Next thing is help us crowdsource our market development tools. So if you've got alerts, if you've got product information, something's coming down the road, let us know. You've got white papers, videos, presentations. It's free. Give us the content. We'll get it up on the site. And then we're going to be reaching out to the memberships for our January Achievements press release, where we're going to be announcing our membership roster, and we're going to be trying to include as much information as we can about upcoming product availability. That's probably the most exciting news we can put in this press release, aside from how many members we have that are working together. We will be posting the webcast. We'll also be posting the slides on SlideShare, and we'll send all those links out to you via email. Thanks again for attending.